On the world, there are 7.7 billion people living in 195 countries. They are all different and have their own personality, their own norms and values, and their own way of living. But what are these differences exactly? Would you be someone else if you were born in Norway or Mexico or even Saudi Arabia? This is Farida, an 18-year-old girl who was born in Egypt and moved to Saudi Arabia when she was 11 years old. She moved because of her father's work. Then we have Lars. Lars is 24 years old and lives in Norway. He grew up in a whole different way than Farida did. But what is that difference exactly between being raised in Norway and Saudi Arabia?
My parents, they raised me very liberally. We didn't have a lot of rules, just a general set of values and things that we follow, but never really religiously. It's never been a big part of our lives, no.
Well, the way I was raised, I guess it's traditional because, like, I kind of don't understand the word traditional because, I've always dealt with Muslim people, so I think we had the same thing, but in another sense, yes, I was raised very religious. My dad was religious. I was very religious as a child, still am. I think my religion is very much now part of my identity. Now that I'm in a place where there's a lot of people, everyone does everything they want. So everyone's free here, especially in Istanbul. Like, that's one thing I really noticed. So being Muslim here is more of not like, everyone is Muslim. No, everyone has their own thing. So, being Muslim is a part of who I am and my identity. And I feel like it makes me different in my own way, and I'm proud of it.
This is Rebecca. Rebecca is 19 years old and was born in Mexico, Cancun. She is on Erasmus in Istanbul.
Biggest lesson my parents have taught me is be independent. And I think it's really important for everyone to learn that side of things. Because when you move out of your parents' home, because you're eventually moving out, if you're not independent, you will look for someone else to take care of you in a way. Like either it's a partner or whomever, a friend. And if you're really independent, then you can just be on your own and just be happy on your own.
The biggest lesson my mom taught me was to be patient, understanding, and admit that I'm wrong. The biggest lesson my dad taught me is to be independent and be genuine with myself.
I did a lot of activities when I was a child during my free time. I did a lot of different types of sports, a lot of martial arts. I like to dance, I really like to sing. I did a lot of music. And I was not a big reader because I couldn't sit still for that long. I really like to watch movies or be on YouTube for hours or just hang out with my friends really, but I really like to stay active.
There's not any outdoor activities except going to the mall in Saudi Arabia. Like, you have to go out, you go to the mall, you want to like meet your friends, go out, you can go to their house, but it's always the mall. The mall is where you eat, shop, walk, exercise, do everything you want.
In a specific way, people raise children in Mexico, but I don't know if that's like, it's different in a lot of ways. Like, they are really Catholic, so you will always baptize your baby. You will always take them to church. You will always teach them prayers. So that's kind of a traditional way.
I feel like in Norway we are friends with our parents. Of course there are some families that don't work like that, but I feel generally we like our parents. We like to hang out with our parents, and our parents like to hang out with us. It's not this, if I'm your father, I can't be your friend. It's not like that. And we can borrow each other's clothes, and I feel like it's very friendly. And I also feel like this, for example, when I lived in Spain, I always heard examples of, yeah, my mom had to hit me once if I didn't behave. And like, you'll go to jail for that. In Norway, it's not allowed at all. You can't even give your child a spanking. If it's reported, then you go to jail.
Having boyfriend is simply not allowed. Also, I like to me, the idea of having a boyfriend is it's hard work. Like you just have to, keep this. Having a friendship is something, and then having a relationship is something else. I feel like I'm too young for this stress. I have friends who have boyfriends. Woo. I'm too young. I'm only 18 and I have my whole life to figure out. And I just moved and I'm starting university. I feel like I have enough stress. And despite the fact that having a boyfriend is not on the menu, but that doesn't stop me from finding a future suitable husband,
For me, it was maybe kind of different because in my teens I only had girlfriends and they were never strict about that. My mom was my go-to friend to tell if I had a crush on someone and if I wanted to ask someone out, or if I'd been at a party, or when you have like this discos at the primary school and I said, oh, I slow dance with this and this girl. I always told my mom. But then when I figured out that I liked boys as well, that was the only thing I actually hid from my parents for quite a long time, because I felt like they would be embarrassed, and especially from my mom. She was a bit more not strict in that way, but she didn't understand it as well as my father. My mom's a teacher, my dad's an artist, so he's very liberal. But so I had to explain a lot more to my mom in regards of boyfriends, that it's natural, it's normal, and it doesn't change who I am. But we never had any rule that we couldn't have sex before this and this age, and they never really had a talk with us. I think they just presumed that we would be careful.
I am Egyptian, 100% Egyptian, but I feel like my Egyptianality is very colored with a lot of cultures now. One thing I have to really point out is that, living in Saudi Arabia, don't just encounter Saudis. You encounter so many people, like people from Pakistan, from Philippines, from India, from Canada, from Syria, Jordan, Lebanese people. There's like the whole thing, and Malaysian people. Like I met so many different nationalities there that I will never ever see just by being in Egypt. So I think I'm very touched by all these different nationalities.